Working on a Speedqueen washer today. Customer is saying that it is smoking and not spinning right. So first thing you want to do is take out these two screws on the bottom here. Remove the front cover. It's going to expose two more screws on top here to remove the top. Just open it like that. And then inspection time. First thing I notice is these shavings from the belt. Yep, the belt is all cracked and old and falling apart down there. These are pieces of the belt that burnt off. Usually when this happens, it's because the customer overloaded the washer and it's making it work harder than it should. So we'll open up these tabs right here and get this top piece off. The tabs go all around the drum. Once you get that loose, take it off. It's usually because there's some kind of clothing or sock stuck in between the drum here. That's making the drum work harder than it should, causing the belt to burn out like that. So I'm spinning it on top by hand and inspecting it from the bottom here. It spins, but it stops and the belt just runs in place. Alright, we're going to try to get that belt out of there. First thing that I do is remove these tabs right here that holds the water pump in place. There's 3 of them. They just come off just like that. If you can't get it off by hand, then use a pair of pliers. Just like this, and they'll come off. Once you remove those tabs, you want to loosen the tension of the belt. Just push that spring right there, and the tension should come off the belt. Enough for you to take it off of the idler pulley. Of course, it's easier said than done. It took me a while fiddling around, trying to move everything around to get the belt off. What I ended up doing was moving the water pump to the side to give me enough space to work on the belt. Eventually, I got it after moving everything around a little bit. But this belt was like caked on to the pulley. So I had to adjust a few things and pull really hard to get this belt off. Took me a bit here. Usually it comes off really easy, not like this. This thing is bad, cracked, loose, and old. And parts of it was baked onto the pulley right there. Super baked on. I have to get that off first before I put the new belt on. First thing you want to do is just clean up the debris around here. Just vacuum everything up. And then I finally got all that baked on belt off. It took me like an hour to get that thing off. That was horrible. It was bad. One of the worst ones I've ever done. These are all the tools I used to get that baked on belt off. The one that was really helpful was this chisel right here. That took longer than I thought. This is a new belt. This is what it's supposed to look like. Nice, smooth, and thick like this. This is the old belt, all cracked and falling apart. If it looks like this, you gotta change your belt. Alright, next part's pretty easy. Putting the new belt on. First thing you want to do is put it over the big pulley under the drum. Make sure you route it correctly. Goes over the idler pulley and then to the next pulley. Use a flathead here to adjust the tension. Once the tension is loose enough, you can put the belt over the second pulley here. Making sure that it is routed correctly the whole time while you're doing this. And you just release. And the idler pulley should tension up the belt again, just like that. Make sure everything is routed correctly again. And everything looks good. So next thing you do is put the water pump back on. It lines up in the middle of that shank right there. Once you line that up, you should be able to push the water pump right into place. It should fit like a glove. Just like that. Once you get it on there, push it up and put these clips back on. This first one was the hardest one because you can't really see it and there's no space. But these other two are pretty easy, so I can show you how it's done. You hook it on first and then just pull down. You bend it in the middle right there to give you some slack, and then you can hook it on the bottom. Just like that. And then it's going to be the same thing on this side. A little bit tighter, but still doable. Alright, once you get those 3 clips in place, you're going to spin it by hand to make sure that everything spins correctly. And the belt is moving perfect. There's a gasket right here on the top part here. Make sure that's seated in before you put this back on. There is a certain orientation of this, so make sure you keep note of that. Just snap it back in place just like that. Push down, it will snap in place. Then you can drop the top part down, line it up correctly, and then put the screws back on. Set it to spin right here so you can test it. Make sure it's spinning correctly. And it is. The belt is in full motion and everything is spinning correctly. making sure the drum is spinning right. And that's it.